Maybe I'll just tell you how we met Daniel. So we first started working on this food insecurity project, and we got in touch with Willing Hearts. And then when we went down to distribute the food, Simon, who is he's not here today. He's also one of the volunteers at Willing Hearts, and he's been visiting Daniel for about once a week for a while now, right?
Yep.
So he introduced us to Daniel, and then he said that we could interview him as well. So during the interview, we got to know a little bit more about him. Then we were wondering whether we could get his help to enlist more interviewees for our project as well. So and then he's been a really great help. He's been going around every day, getting to know people in his neighborhood, and getting in touch with the people on the ground. And then it's only through his help that we've been getting quite a lot of interviews. Yeah.
Thank you. Satvi, you want to add anything?
So Daniel was the first participant that we interviewed, and I have to say that it's only because of him that we were so much more inspired, or he inspired us to further pursue our work, and with his help, only have we been able to push on and meet more people and help more people, and it's all thanks to Daniel, who was the first. I think we were so lucky that we were the first person to meet him, and he has been an inspiration so far.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks both of you. And thank you, Daniel, for being a part of this project.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Daniel, for being a part of this project. And thanks for coming to CNN in this space to talk to us. It's a delight to have you with us. So I'm going to start by asking you a very broad question. And we would like to know more about you. So if you would like to recount your life experiences, that would be great.
All right. Basically, I'm just an ordinary guy, or rather was. I came from a family of 6, 4 of us, and father and mother. We were rather poor. My father was a bus conductor. We were average wage of $300 then. But somehow, during that time, life was not that difficult. We still managed to get through schools, and we had food and whatsoever. And my dad passed away when I was 13 years old. That became a very big issue for us in the sense that my mom was not working, and I had to actually, my sister had to stop working, get into a factory work to support the family. Myself, I had to do odd jobs after school hours, like working in a canteen, and during school holidays I used to work in a plastic factory way back in the 80s, somewhere in Upper Paya Lebar. And we got through. So I went to, after my O levels, I went to Singapore Poly, and I was pursuing mechanical engineering. However, I was unable to do my odd jobs, and I couldn't afford the fees then. And I came out, and I opted to go to the army. And it was a tough decision, but I had to do it, because otherwise, there'd be no food on the table for us. When I went to the army, I came to know about the scheme, whereby you can go to a foreign land like Brunei. They call it Lancer. Prisendo is in Thailand. So I opted to go there because my pay was like $135 a month. And when the fact that you get transferred over there, your pay goes up to $1,700, which is a huge difference. And from there, I was there for 8 months, got my saving, and also help with my families. When I came back, I started studying business ed in Thames School of Commerce, which does not exist today. It's been taken over by informatics. Yeah? I got my diplomas then, and my siblings got married. My 3 siblings got married. But I had an issue with my mom those days, where she was a depression case, quite extreme, in the sense that she used to scream and, in the middle of the night and throw away things, and it became difficult staying with her. So that's why my siblings got married, and they moved out. I couldn't, because with the 3 of them gone, I had to stay back and take care of her. All right. issues like nursing homes and all these options were out, given my mom's condition. Well, I've done some jobs along the way. I was a sales trainer with Straits Times. I've done my own business. I also was a employment consultant for a while, and I'm a cinema manager, tutor. That was my last occupation until I became sick. And it has been about 4 years since I actually worked, because I became sick, in a sense that also given my mom's condition, I also had to share the stress level with her also. Having to come back home and seeing the house in a mess, my things being thrown away and not in proper. And when I used to call out to my siblings for help, no one would come forward. So it was a struggle on my own. That took a toll on my health. And just not long ago, about the year 2009, we had some issue in the house regarding some pictures not in order, and then I had to call up my brother-in-law and get the thing done. And then, well, the HDB officers came to see the leakage. It was a pipe leakage actually. And suddenly from nowhere, I saw my sister after 14 years. And I was like, wow, all this while I've been taking care of my mom and you didn't even turn up, and today you turn up just because there's a leakage in the house. Reason being because they got vested interest in the house. They're just waiting for my mom to pass away, and they will probably get a share, whatever share that might be. Now, when the HDB officer asked her that, asked me that, whom should we contact, should the contractors come down, and she said, no, you ought to contact me, meaning her. And of course I got agitated, and I raised my voice with her, and she was abusive verbally, and she grabbed me and I just grabbed her, and well, all I know is that a few weeks later I'm facing the family court. My sister and my brother-in-law took a PPO against me just for that incident. And that was the beginning of my crisis. As far as the house is concerned, my father passed away, and my mom and I had that common sharing house. But, well, I was very foolish in the sense that when my younger sibling, my younger brother in fact, approached me, that aren't you getting married, or we should get someone in to the house for mom's sake, like getting a wife or somebody. I told him that I'm not interested in getting married now. So he wanted to get married, and he had not enough funds in his CPF. I had to actually sell the house, and then the foolish thing was that giving the whole lump sum to my brother to get a house, a bigger house for that matter. And when that happened, I was not even allowed in the new house because of some belief that I don't like. Am I allowed to talk about religion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they are Hindus and I'm a Christian. Because when you consult a medium or a priest, and then they'll say that, you've got this new house now. Your elder brother is going through some sort of difficulty. The stars are not in place or whatsoever, and he's not allowed to enter the house. So I was like, oh, okay. That was the biggest setback. I had to stay on my own. And then eventually the house also got sold off because of the fact that my sister-in-law couldn't get along with my mom. And then the house sold off, and then they bought a one-room, one-hall flat, which is currently there at North Street, Block 534. So I was staying with my mom. Until that's the time that there was no PPO, I was staying with my mom. And when PPO came into place, my sister and my brother-in-law, what they did was they actually took my mother out by making her do a visit to the hospital, and from there they got her admitted in a text of that she was not mentally sound, and she stayed there. Until such time, instead of getting her back to home, they put her in a nursing home. And in between, what my family members did was they went to consult a lawyer to get rid of me, so that they can, nursing home, there's a cost. Currently they're paying about $850, so there's a cost involved there. So the question is, who's going to carve out that money every month to pay for it? So the best option would be to rent out this house officially to open market and get the money and pay off. So obviously I couldn't stay there. So they got rid of me. That was the beginning of my hell experiences. Now when that happened, I was not prepared to be staying outside a home which I didn't know. I was not open to the fact of renting out a room. It was like everything being snatched away from me. It's like what I once described to them. It was like, we read about tsunamis, we see them in internet, the scenarios. It was just like that. I was standing at the shore with everything around me, the houses and the trees and the people around me, and suddenly when tsunami came, and nothing was left. I was just left there standing alone amidst the debris, that's all. There was no help. I did venture out to rent out rooms. The first room which I rented out was, believe it or not, it was haunted. It was really haunted, so I came out from there. The second house which I went to, I paid my deposits and my rent. That house was being abused by some people for drugs. Yeah, they were drug abusers, so I got myself out from there. And I went to a couple more places, and it didn't work out because either the place was too noisy, and at the same time my medical conditions were not getting well. So I was like going in and out of hospital. I still remember the fact that there was a time where the first time ever I went to Changi Hospital, I was admitted for 11 days, and I still had a home with me. After 3 days of stay there, I'll make noise to the doctors that I need to go back. I'm not used to staying in the hospital. Every day I'll make noise. And finally, after 11 days, they did let me go. I went back to my home. But then when the second time came and I was like homeless, I didn't know where to go. Instead of wanting to get discharged, I always find excuses to stay back in hospital. I was asking myself that where I'm going to go after this. So it was the kind of struggle. I still remember there were times when they used to give me medicines, I refused to take the medications. They would give it to me, I'll just throw it away so that I can stay in hospital. I know it will not be permanent, but at least a day or two will make my day. That was the kind of condition. And when all my options ran out, I ran out of money, paying rents here and there. I knew of behind my mom's block 534, Burnoff Street 3, there's another block 533 is facing the PIE. There's a park, so I knew of some homeless people who were staying there. One day I just took my bag and I just went there. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I ran out of options. And my medical conditions were not getting good, and I was like still trying to recover from the fact that, hey, what's happening, to my life. I went to my friends. Those friends who actually turned to me for help, they turned their back on me, giving all kinds of excuses that, you can't stay in my place because my daughters are getting big and, this and that and all the crap. So I ran out of options. And I went to the White Deck. With those bumps, you may call it. So I was part of a bump society once. And it was not easy. I still remember one time I was resting at Bedok Reservoir Park. I was awoken. I was beaten up. I lost some of my teeth. I was beaten up quite bad. They robbed me. They took my wallet my IC, whatever money I had. It was not easy. I had to find a place to wash myself up. And pick myself up. I didn't go to the hospital then. Didn't want to face the reality of being in the hospital. So it was back again on the White Deck. While I was in White Deck, at the White Deck, there was a family center, a Morel home. I can't remember the name, at block 534. Yeah. I went to see them once, and this chap, I can't remember his name, he told me that, Daniel, we'll see what we can do. What if you just wait under the block, and there will be some people to come and pick you up, you know. They are from actually the MCYS, something like that, somewhere in Upper Thompson Road. But thank God I didn't go. Then there was another occasion, it was in the year 2009, I remember. It was Christmas Eve, and I was telling myself, God, tomorrow is Christmas, I don't want to sleep to Void Deck. Please grant me a bed tomorrow. So what happened was, that following afternoon, this chap called me up and said, Daniel, why don't you go up to this YMCS office at this Upper Thompson Road? I didn't have money with me. He gave me $5 and I went. And it was like a dreadful journey. Going somewhere which I've never been, and I don't know what's going to happen to me then. When I went there, I somehow managed to reach there. It was up the hill. With my bag, broken shoe, all not in the proper state. I reached there in the afternoon, I saw the guards, and they told me, hey, you know what, the office is closed. It's Christmas Eve. And I had no option but to call up this guy at the Morel home, and he told me, Daniel, you just wait for a few minutes and maybe I'll arrange for you something. And after a while the call came and he told me, Daniel, you make your way back to Geylang side, Lorong 23, there's a place called Christian Care Center. You've already spoken to the pastor, you can go there and rest. And I had another worries, like, will the bus fare be enough or not? But God was great. God is always great. I had only exactly $1.70 with me, and when I asked the bus driver how much already goes there to Geylang Lorong 1, he told me $1.70 exactly. And when I reached there, I had to walk. Lorong 23 was quite a mile. I was really tired. I wanted to give up, but I didn't. Because of the fact that I was telling myself, hey, you know what, tonight I'm going to have a place to sleep, a proper place, a proper meal. And I made my bed there. And when I went there, it was like, wow, there were people there, there were food there, and they gave me a lodging and whatsoever. I stayed there for about 4 days. Then I came out again, and I went back to the White Decks. While being in this process, in this period, I used to see my MP. I still remember his name, Muhammad Faisal. He's somewhere in the MP in Jurong now. He was in charge of Bedok. I used to see him, and then he used to rally for me to HDB, and then that was it with HDB and my MP. However, I had an officer in HDB also. Her name I still remember, and she was an angel to me. Her name Elizabeth. Whenever I got discharged from hospital, I had nowhere to go. I'll always end up seeing her at HDB Hub. And I was like all messed up and everything, and she will see me and straight away she will take up tissue paper, not for my eyes, not for my tears, for herself. When she hears of my situation, she will cry. And it's because of her that instead of getting a house in a year's time, I got it in 6 months when I started applying. So in total, I was homeless for a year and a half. I was very grateful I got the house. It was in Punggol then. I had never been to Punggol. The area is like underdeveloped. no shops, no this, no that, but I was happy that I had a home. And I still had my medical issues. I was diagnosed with lack of potassium in me. Hypertension, and in and out of hospital every now and then. Until the year 2012, after my 13th admission in hospital, the year 2012, somewhere in October, I couldn't walk. I had issues with my leg, and when I was admitted, they did some checks, and then they found out that I had diabetes. But the funny thing is that each time when I used to go to hospital, I would ask them, hey, you know what, I got this symptom of dry mouth, and I urinate quite often, and they would tell me that no, you don't have diabetes. But finally, when they did check, there was a nerve doctor actually who came to see me, and after some tests, so he told me that we're going to conduct a diabetes test on you, and it was confirmed. But the sad thing was that the doctor even told me that your diabetes is not discovered today. It was something which you were carrying along with you for some time. And the frustrating thing was that I couldn't do anything about it. I mean, despite being hospitalized for 13 or 14 times, having to stay there, and then having got all these tests done on you, and then guess what? You don't have diabetes, and suddenly out of nowhere you have diabetes, and you've been carrying it for a number of years. And because of that, I developed nerve damage. As you know, nerve damage is something which you cannot be reversed. You'll be on lifetime medication. It's quite painful. Well, I know I'm okay now, but if I'm going to lie down later at night, it will be very painful. And the pain comes like, for instance, like, now, flinch, the kind of pain. And it's quite embarrassing sometimes when I'm in a public place, like I'm in a bus, and it comes and, body jerks, and the next guy sitting next to me is wondering, what's wrong with this guy, So it's quite embarrassing also. During that time, I was like unable to walk. Yeah, I could limp actually, but it was very painful. I was on wheelchair, and then slowly condition improved, and I was like, okay, walking sticks. And it was quite discouraging, getting to know that you're going to lose the use of your leg. And then with divine intervention, I got out of Punggol. I'm staying now in Sims Drive. Well, it's a cabin. God given cabin. So my home issues are settled. I'm staying alone. Supposed to staying with another partner, but that partner happens to be my brother-in-law's auntie. So she's got her own issues, so she stays with her mom. So I'm thanking God that I'm staying alone. And my psychiatrist, she used to ask me, Daniel, how you are coping up alone, So I told her, yeah, only just catch up with you at times. But then, what to do? Then she got me introduced to this Singapore Anglican Community Services. They are based in Pasir Ris, Victor. A guy by the name of Joseph came to visit me, and just find out how things. And then food was an issue then. Having no job, I was still on CDC. CDC like what? They give you the payout is $350, and then out of which you pay $99 for a rental, $60 for your PUB. Then I have internet service because I need. I can't go out, so I need to find out information. So $60 on internet and then town council. End of the day, you just left with about $100. So food was an issue, besides transportation, because I had to go for my medical appointments. And then along came this Joseph T from the community services. He's the one who introduced Willing Heart to me. You know, there's food available. And that time he was in Block 100. Aljunied, yeah. I used to struggle, you know, with a walking stick, and I went there twice and I gave up. I couldn't walk all the way there and collect food. And it was like a one-time thing in a day, so it was like one packet, it was not worth it. So I did voice out to Joseph about this, and he told me, Daniel, you know what, there's a food distribution right in front of your block. So from there, I came to know that there was actually another area of distribution. Then there was a period where I really couldn't walk, there was no food for me. I did inform this to Tony. I came to know Tony through, there was a volunteer who came to deliver food. And then I told them, hey, listen, you know what, sometimes I got a problem issuing, I mean, you guys are not coming every day, but I got an issue, sometimes I can't go down and collect the food. Then he said, fine, you contact this guy called Tony, I think the director. And that's what I did. I contacted him, and from there, Simon was given my number and my address to come and deliver food to me. And that's how I know Simon. And we became quite close, quite good friends. And because of Simon, I'm here. Thanks to you two ladies. Okay, full stop.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
So you were homeless for about
a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So during that time, did you seek out resources?
Okay, resources like, okay, MP is one of them. Besides approaching the MP, you got to do something on your own also. Yeah. So I had to seek out a partner, you know, to go and apply for HDB house. You need two names to apply for HDB home. And okay, the waiting time could be between a year to 2 years. And then also, racial issues come into the picture also. For example, Malays and Chinese, you know, they got quotas, like areas like Eunos, Bedok, Bukit Timah, Bukit Merah, Marine Parade. For your information, there's 2 Marine Parade blocks under rental. Block 15 is one of them. Yeah. Indians and Malay are not eligible because the percentage is already too high. Quota met. Chinese, okay. So that was another issue. So you got to wait, you know. Unless somebody comes out, then you can move in there. And guess what? The queue is then long. So I usually would go and visit my HDB officer every now and then. One of the time was when I came up from hospital, I was always going to see her. I mean, though maybe I was a pain to her, but then she didn't take it that way. It was like, I just needed to remind them that, look, I really need a home. So that's how I seek out the help.
So did you pay? Did you have to pay out of pocket for part of the home?
Yeah, you have to pay a deposit of. Well, the time I shifted to Punggol, the rent was about $169, $340. Yeah, and then you have to pay a $50 deposit of PUB, so $390. How did I manage to pay that money was like, in my good times, I had helped out people, you know, and there are some friends who actually do owe me money, yeah. And I did call a couple of them, and then they gave me some excuses, you know. I told them, look, I'm getting a home and I need some funds, yeah, you can bring me back my money. Well, I was grateful that it was one of my friends. She did help me to pay for the deposit and then the rent. Yeah.
And that whole process took a year and a half.
Year and a half, yes.
Okay. So how did you know what steps to take? How did you figure that out?
So, can I?
Yeah.
So basically, HDB was one side to get shelter, right? So how did CDC come into the picture? How did you
Oh, okay, fine. When I moved in, I had some money with me. Some of my friends paid back the money. I did manage to pay my rent on time. It went on for about 6 months, and when the money went out, and I couldn't, I called up my HDB officer, but her name was Patrick. I still remember him, though I've never seen him. Based in Rivervale Plaza, the HDB office is there. He told me, Daniel, you know what, since you can't pay, you have difficulty, you're not working anyway, arrange for you for CDC. And okay, and within a week I received a letter from CDC that I should go and visit them somewhere in Punggol Plaza, which I did. And then they helped me out.
So the HDB officer directed you to this
Yes.
CDC?
I heard from my other friends who have similar issues like mine. Not all the HDB officers are that helpful, but I guess I was lucky. In that way, I got help from CDC. Yeah.
Do you have an additional question?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. Then you talked about getting over $300.
$350.
$350. So that would leave you about $100
For myself, yeah.
for yourself.
For my transport, for my food.
So how far would that take you?
Well, it depends. If I've got a medical appointment, which I do have every week, I have to go for medical appointments. Sometimes it's like 1 week twice. Given my leg condition, I'm unable to walk or take up public transport. I don't know when my attack is going to come and when I'm going to fall, and even I've been advised taking public transport. I travel by cab, so to and fro it becomes like a $20 issue. It's off peak period is about 8 something, and by the time it's peak period it's about $14. So that money is saved for my transport, which is not enough also. So there are times I skip my appointments. I prioritize them in the sense that which is important, I go for that. Which is not so important and I still got a medication, I postpone my appointments. I can't afford to go all my appointments at one go.
And you have your appointments once a week?
At least once a week. Like on this coming Thursday, which is tomorrow, yeah, I'm having two. Two.
At the same place?
Yeah, Changi Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, different department, but Changi Hospital.
Okay. And then do you have to pay out of pocket?
No, because I've got my CDC, no money.
The chest card?
The MCW card, which is a medical social service card. Now these are all renewed based on your MCs. And of course, you have to have an officer there like on the social service. So we call it the case manager. They look into your cases, and if you have MCs, you don't have to pay for it. They call it something like Medi-Shield, yeah? Where government has allocated some amount of money for a time where you can't afford to pay, and also that is more workable on a case where you have run out of your Medisave, so you have no funds in your Medisave to pay up, and that's where this thing comes into play. So I don't have to pay.
Okay. So what you have to pay for is the transportation?
Yeah, the transportation. Even the medications are all I don't have to pay for anything, or cash or whatsoever. Even when I'm admitted also, I don't have to cover anything. So that much is.
So you mostly skip out, it is because of the inability to afford transportation?
Yeah. Basically, that's about it. Of course, we all of us have got, some sort of needs whereby you feel like, wanting to get something, but you know that you can't have it. So, having to come in conditions like mine and many others out there, you just have to forego. You either have this or that. But it's still managed. Still manageable. It's all here, basically. Yeah. They are afraid They are shy. They don't want to. They've been beaten enough. But I'm sure we should find a way to get through these people. For me to get through these people is easy because I've been there. Like for me, in my areas, I walk around. I say, hey uncle, how are you? You know, this and that. Hey, I saw you carrying a packet of food. Oh yeah, I deliver here, I deliver there. And then sometimes, most of the time, it's this, I limp. How is your leg and this and that? We start talking, you know. And then slowly a common interest builds up. And then that's where you come to know what people communicate, real stories. Yeah. So again, you know what we used to do. One of the pastime was that we used to gather together all those like the 5 or 6 of us, all the so-called bumps. We used to share our stories, share and then encourage each other. Our main concern be food, food, and then where to sleep tonight, because the same place we'll be sleeping, there'll be police raid. But sometimes police do raids. Yeah. And so we will discuss this and pass our time. And then somebody will come up with some, he met somebody along the way and say, hey, you know what, there's something, we could do differently today. So why not? So that's how we pass our time. So it's never easy. I'm sure you've been through it, you know it. Yeah. The days are longer than the night.
For me, I had a job and I had a place to stay. But again,
it's not easy, yeah?
It's not easy.
I'm sorry, I'd just like to touch, add on to his further question. Because you said that internet is actually a very important part of your life when you were living alone. It's acting like a window to the outside world, especially when you're living alone. So much so that you will actually be willing to shell out about $60 for internet. So I'd just like to know, what are the particular ways that you use the internet to get a better insight of the outside world from your cocoon? What are the services that you use?
The reason why I have internet is because I can actually go into people's world without being there. If I were to step out of my home, then I have to literally physically be there. And which I may not be prepared to do that mentally, in a sense that I'm exposing myself. I'm opening myself, which is positive in a way, but that's not the way I look at it most of the time. So when I go into the internet, I go sites like what's happening, documentaries, poor countries, floods, and whatever is happening currently in this world today, all the bad things. When I go into their world, then I tell myself that there's still a lot that can be done in this world. And I'm not alone. And sometimes I come across ideas, maybe, they should have do things this way than what they're doing now. But who cares about what I think? Nobody's going to listen to me. Yeah. So that's why I go to the internet. And of course, my medical issues also, at times you can't always believe what a doctor tells you. So when I go for a medical appointment, when the doctor tells me that, hey, you know what, you got this, so side effect is that and that and that. And then when I tell them that, today I had this sudden pain here and there, and so there's nothing, but there's nothing to them, but there's something to my body. So I go into the internet and check whether what is it really. Yeah. Okay, the internet, as you know, is unlike the TV. TV is all set program for you to watch, and they're all already set. Unlike the internet, you have a choice. You can go and actually find out what you really need to know. Yeah? And also sometimes you will come across things like which you never even heard of, or never even thought it existed. So that's the difference why I choose to go to the internet.
You say people don't listen to you, but on the internet you can have a chance to blog and be interactive. Do you use that? And you feel that people...
with me is that I'm
got an audience there?
Old-fashioned. I don't have to do blocking also. Unless someone teaches me. So
you can post comments on the site or something without...
I have not tried that option. I do. Anyway, thanks a lot, but I have not tried. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, right? So among your peers, those you hang out with, those in similar situations with you, do they actually have access to the internet?
No.
No, is it?
So that time I didn't have any access to anywhere. You know? Remember I was homeless? Yeah. And now, if you ask me where are they, 3 of them died. The other, one of them is in a home, Angsana home. I got no idea about the other one. I mean, among the 6 of us. But 3 of them died. As I said, one died on the car park, roadside. 2 died the white deck. Yeah. That was that. So I really don't know whether they have. I mean, the one in the home, I don't think he got internet access. I also do know that life down there is like this. Morning when you wake up, breakfast is about 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and then you go and do your personal things like take shower or whatsoever, and if you're sick, there's a doctor available there, and then you hang around in the courtyard the whole day until lunch, and after lunch you still hang around there. You're not allowed to go and rest unless you are sick, unless you're certified sick by the doctor, the in-house doctor, and dinner is about 6 or whatsoever, and after that it's TV time, and that's it, 9 o'clock, lights off. So what kind of life is that? I don't think they got internet. They do have TV. No internet. So you see the world, how boring is it? Yeah, they got shelter. They got food. I was always thinking, why can't our government, come up with programs to help these people? Instead of them lazing around, yeah, I mean, as I said, they got home, they got shelter, they got food. But then, why not put them to work or, program, actually when they, they may not be able to secure a home in their lifetime, I'm sure of that, but they'll be able to secure an income for themselves if they were to learn something. Yeah. But there's no such program.
What do you think would be a very good program to be implemented?
For whom?
For them.
For these people?
Yes.
Well, okay, to start with, those people who actually ended up there, right, it could be for many reasons. One of them could be like, divorce case, then after that the wife took custody of the home, and then this guy got no home to go, and then after that maybe social issues like, maybe he was a alcoholic or whatsoever, would kick out from the home. I think at some point of level they do have some sort of job skill, But then when they are staying down there, I don't think they are allowed to go out. It's like a prison. And even those who are allowed to go out also will be after 3 months. And their pays are all controlled by the agency itself. They only give you maybe a few dollars in a day for your expenditures, your food, your transportation. And the rest of the salary goes into a sort of a saving, you see. But then that's only for pockets of them who are really working. But what are the majority who are not? Why aren't there some sort of program for them? Maybe like what they do in the prison. The prisoners, they are put to work. Our hospital laundries, all are sent there for washing. So there is work allocated for these people. But why not for these people?
So you are saying that maybe we can implement some sort of the same thing that we did for the yellow ribbon project,
yeah,
that the people in the homes, instead of just letting them stay there and
loiter around
and
yeah,
basically just do nothing, you're suggesting that maybe the government can actually employ these resources,
yeah,
in places like maybe laundry services,
yeah,
maybe make if some of them have some talent in making things, make something to sell or something.
Yeah. Have you been there anyway?
I've been to one,
Which
and
one was that?
I understand it's very. When I went as a student, and when we go there, it's as if we brighten their day, because
Yeah, you're right.
we are there to do things with them. But when I was there, I approached it as from a student point of view, that all we were doing when we were there were to clock the hours for CIP. Once we are done, bye bye, that's it. But these people are going to be staying there for the next few years,
Yeah.
and it's not every day that people are going to visit them.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, from your point of view, what can be done to help this situation?
You see, there are many areas are still requiring, foreign workers. Why not just remove some of these areas where you think that our Singaporeans, may want to take on such job. I'm not talking about climbing the construction or whatsoever, yeah. I don't think they will do that. But like areas of cleaning for instance, that's another. We need a lot of cleaners. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of areas need to be clean also. Instead of hiring foreigners or subcontracting out, use this pool of people here. At least they will be able to earn something and pass their time. Yeah.
Because passing the time is.
Yeah, and they are not offenders. They will not run away. You can't do that with a prisoner. Yeah. Whatever the job is allocated is within the scope, within the perimeter of the prison itself. However, for these people, to bring them out for job, and where can they go? They still have to come back to the shelter for their food or their bed. So it's workable, but why is it all not being done? You saw yourself, right? And I mean, if you were to go there one whole day from morning to evening, if you really want to experience, probably the next day you probably need to see a psychiatrist. It's that boring. It was like the time where I spent 1.5 years. It was like that also. But the fact that I was out there, so it makes it far more easier for me to sort of get along than these people who are locked up there. They are not sex offenders or whatever offenders. They just that they don't have home.
I'm mindful of the time, so let's take one more question. Maybe from one of you who hasn't had an opportunity to ask a question yet.
You think from your story, right? Because I was examining it, so it's is it possible in a sense where the family is kind of split up by religion, and it's hence communication can't really go through?
What do you mean by families being split up by religion?
As in maybe the family is to practice one religion, then personally is to practice another one. Then it's in both ways, communication can't really go through, because I'm experiencing that for my own side.
For your own home, is it?
Yeah. So it's quite.
It could be one of the factors also, It could be. Like for me, I'm a born again Christian, and my families are all Hindus. So when they heard that I was being born again with Christ, they looked down on me. I was looked down by my friends. You see that you join a Masale kind of a religion. Masale, the white man's religion. To many Asians also, and our Singaporeans especially, who are not that open-minded. When you switch over, they think that you have actually cut off ties and whatsoever. Yeah. So it's possible. It does play a role. Besides many other roles, yeah, many other. So religion could be one of them also. But when it comes to communication, a lot of things come to play. You're talking about family-wise. Let's say if this sibling in his house is doing well and the other one is not doing well, he's contributing a lot in the house expenses, and this guy is finding it difficult to do that also at times. That also is an issue altogether. Yeah. Then you have different comparisons all coming. And then maybe this guy is educated and the guy didn't have a chance to be, he had the chance, maybe he was too playful or whatsoever. All these family issues are very complicated. The line can be drawn very far.
Thank you, Daniel. Would you like to add anything that we didn't happen to ask today?
Okay, what I can say is that after hearing me out, don't stop here. If you have a chance to hear more people out, go out there and hear them out. Sometimes when you listen also helps. Yeah. And if you really think that you can come up with something on your own or as a group, why not? Like for instance, in your case, if you think that you can set up a group and approach Angsana Home or authority should be MCYS, MCYS. Approach them and say, look, I think we have got these ideas, and which we can put into play for this bunch of people here. Why not? Have your options open. The opportunities are very big out there. Problems comes in all shapes and sizes. Yeah. It's how you learn to identify them. The channel to use, the communication, the tactic you use. Otherwise, you can't get these people to do talking. Yeah. I had a case, like for instance, my neighbor, when I approached them, there's a survey going on, and they want to know like, actually how you're managing and the problems you face. These people just shut their doors. They said that no, the husband told me, the uncle told me that, Daniel, we had enough of this. We have knocked doors and all the doors were closed. So now instead of what we do is that we close our own doors. Yeah. So, but I still have not given up on them. I can still talk to them. Who knows? One day we'll just open the doors to them, to you. Anything else?
Thank you so much, Daniel, for taking the time and for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
Thanks also to you all.